I wanted to come on live. I'm probably going to do a different live in a little bit, but I wanted to come on live because I'm about to break my fast. Some days I fast a little bit longer than other days. And so, yeah, today I ended up doing, I'm trying to think what time I stopped having something. So I think I am 16, 18, 19 hours into my fast. And so if you follow any of my other videos, you know that I've done some water fasting. I do some extended water fasting. I've done I did a 10-day and 11-day, and 2 or 3 weeks ago, I finished a 5-day water fast. But during the week, usually what I do is from Sunday night after dinner till Tuesday morning, I usually do a fast, roughly about 40 hours, about once a week. And sometimes certain days of the week, I also will do some intermittent fasting. I don't do that every day. I'm a firm believer of like really tuning into your body and noticing what is going on. So if I haven't slept well, if I'm really stressed out, or if there are other things that are going on in my life, I'm not going to be doing intermittent fasting on those days. But on days where I'm feeling pretty good and energized, I like to play with my eating window and just go a little bit longer. So a lot of people, they have this, when they're doing intermittent fasting, they'll do like 16 hours fasted and 8 hour eating window. In actuality, you actually want to try and push it to about 18 hours or 19 hours or even 20 hours, because that is going to force your body to number one, start going into autophagy, but it's also going to force your body to start utilizing some of your fat stores. 16 hours isn't quite long enough. So anyway, one of the things that I love to break my fast with is always my favorite green juice. I have been partnered with a regeneratively grown Superfoods line now for 6 years. I absolutely love everything that they make because number one, it's regeneratively grown. So it has a lot of really amazing, potent nutrition and micronutrients. And they're like the highest quality that I have found anywhere. And I get sent a lot of information by different companies asking me to work with their products. And quite honestly, this is the best one that I have found. And so what sets them apart is that they're dehydrating their greens at low temperatures. And what that does is it preserves the nutrients and the enzymes. And why would anybody want to have a green drink or a green shake? It's because it's very, very alkalizing, and most of us are in an acidic state. And so this is my way of putting a lot of nutrients into my body very, very efficiently. One of these green shakes, like if you were to just have the power shake is the nutritional equivalent of 6 microgreen salads. But what I like to do, I just noticed that I'm almost out of power shakes, so I have to actually go get a new bag. So come walk with me. I'm gonna go to my superfood stash, and I'm gonna get myself a thing of power shake. I didn't realize that I was almost out. So yeah, I store extra superfoods always in my cupboards because especially these days, you never know with what's going on in the world, what's going to end up happening with the food system. And I actually have friends in California and Florida and other places that buy lots of extra superfoods so they are never compromised when it comes to their nutrition. And actually funny, a friend of mine messaged me yesterday from Washington, and Washington State, not DC. And I guess there was some kind of a bizarre water situation in her county, and like people just got really, really freaked out. You guys got a little tour of my house there. People got really freaked out at the possibility of not having water. And so they like all of the bottled water got bought up in like a matter of hours in her little town. So that was interesting, right? You know what, it reminds me of the toilet paper shortage of 2020. I literally back in 2020 had to buy toilet paper from actually she just gave me toilet paper because I couldn't find anywhere to buy toilet paper during that whole, you know, pandemic situation. So I love what they put on their bags here, and if you can read it, you'll have to reverse it, but it says the quality of food you eat is equal to the quality of life you live. And I love this little reminder every time I get one of their bags. And the cool thing about these bags is that they are completely compostable. They are they're made from hemp. So you can literally put them in your garden and they will decompose. So I'm gonna share my little recipe that I make for myself every day. Every day I have at least one of these green drinks a day. And then usually my other shake tends to be more fruit based. And then other than that, I snack on fruit. We try to be pretty much fruit until 5 around here. So we'll have a couple of shakes over the course of the day. And then I will have like fruit to snack on as well. And then in the evening, we'll have like a big salad or raw wraps or something like that, depending on what we're in the mood for. All right. So just before I get into all this, right, there are many people that I know, many of my clients that just have the power shake. They love the power shake. It tastes absolutely amazing. I've been having this for 6 years. I absolutely still love it. But what I like to do is I like to make my green shake a little extra. So there is spirulina in the power shake, but I like to add a little bit more. And if you don't know anything about spirulina, spirulina is known as nature's multivitamin. So I add extra spirulina. I add some cracked salt chlorella, which actually helps with detoxing of heavy metals. And then I add extra barley and kamut. That is in the power shake, but I have some extra. And then this is, I actually should just start making the shake instead of talking about it. So let's start with this. This is Biomedic. This is clinically validated, third-party tested to remove glyphosate from the body. And if you do not know what glyphosate is, I highly encourage you to Google it. But basically, glyphosate, it destroys the microbes in your gut, and it also destroys the tight junctions of the gut. That is what leads to leaky gut. This is 4 different herbs, and what this does is it supports your gut microbiome. It starts to seal up the tight junctions of the gut because it has fulvic and humic acid in it, and it's like helps remove chemicals and heavy metals as well. So I like to put that in my shake, just 1 capsule a day. Then I've got something called pineal clear, and what this does is it helps decalcify the pineal gland. So I usually do a couple of droppers of this, and I started using this when it first came out over a year ago. I use it, like sometimes what I'll do is I'll use it for several months and then I'll take a little break from it for a month or 2 and then I'll go back to it. But everybody's pineal gland is calcified because of the things that are in our water and our food. And so it actually really prevents people from having like a big vision and foresight and basically tapping into a higher consciousness when someone's pineal gland is calcified. And so that's why ideally you want to decalcify it. Then I also have something called menopositive. I like to put this in because this helps balance female hormones. So I put a couple of droppers of that. I'm almost out of this. And yes, I do have a spare bottle in the cupboard. I always do. And then I've got ionic elements, and what this helps with is just giving your body lots of trace minerals. So I put in a few drops of that. And interestingly, when I water fast using my molecular hydrogen bottle, which, let me bring that over. So when I water fast, I use molecular hydrogen with frequencies. So this bottle here in the lid has frequencies. And what I do is I will usually run frequencies like recovery frequencies into my water. And this is all I'll drink while I'm water fasting. And I also do like a molecular hydrogen tablet that has some really good support in terms of vitamin C, B12, magnesium, spermidine, resveratrol. So I do that when I'm water fasting. But in terms of mineral support, because sometimes you can get depleted in terms of your minerals when you're water fasting, I'll do just a few drops of this. And that's my protocol when I'm water fasting, and I don't get hungry, I don't get shaky, I don't feel depleted. I'm able to work and do my normal regular work day and exercise and do all the things that I normally do, and yet I'm just drinking water. All right, so let's let this green shake begin. So I'm going to put in something called Green Spectrum. It basically has the same greens in the Power Shake, but it just doesn't have any grains. And I just like making my green shake like extra green. And then I've got my Power Shake here. I like to put in about 4 tablespoons of it into my drink. And then I add in, that bag is done. So I'm gonna add in more here. Yeah, there we go. So 4 tablespoons of the Power Shake, which I absolutely love, have loved it now for 4 years. Putting in some spirulina. Spirulina is known as nature's multivitamin. So I am 100% plant-based, but because I do these greens and because I do spirulina, I actually don't take any B12. Although that molecular hydrogen tablet I take has a tiny bit of B12, but aside from that, I don't take any B12. And I've only recently started using the molecular hydrogen tablet. So before then, I wasn't supplementing B12 at all. So I've got barley green juice. I add in almost a tablespoon, and I just love how this tastes. I put in the cracked cell chlorella because this helps remove heavy metals from the gut. I don't put in a lot. Even though I'm using a tablespoon, I'm not putting in a tablespoon. I may be doing like 1/4 of a tablespoon. Then I've got my K-Moot, which I also love. This is actually, I do put in a tablespoon of this. I love it. And then the last thing I'm gonna put in is something called Carrot Juice Plus. And this brings a little bit of sweetness into the shake without, without overwhelming it. And I usually like to put in a tablespoon. So there it is. And then I'm just gonna blend this all together. So you see, it's all loaded up. There we go. Cheers. This tastes so good. So why would I do this? Why would I not just try to eat all of these greens? I don't know about you, but most people, we're not great about eating our veggies and putting tons of greens into our body. Most of us weren't raised with that kind of consciousness. And, it's not that enjoyable to munch on a whole bunch of leafy greens. So this is just a very, very efficient way to get lots of greens into the body. And if I was going to try to eat the same amount of nutrients that is in this one shake, and I was going to just try to eat that, I would literally be eating like 7 or 8 salads over the course of my day. And let's face it, no one has time for that, right? So that's why I just like doing this. It's efficient. If you're like me, you're probably busy, your life is full, you've got a lot of stuff going on. And so trying to get all of these greens into you, it can be challenging. So this is efficient. When I travel, if I'm going to an event across town, whatever it is that I'm doing over the course of my day, I always make sure I get one of these into my body. Now, I've obviously souped up my green shake, but what you can do is you can just get the Power Shake, the Biomedic, and the Pineal Clear, and you would be more than covered in terms of your nutritional needs. In fact, one Power Shake has the nutritional equivalent, like it has 97% of the macro and the micronutrients that you need in your body in a day. So it does have a lot of nutrients within it. And it's just an efficient way to make sure that you're getting everything that your body needs without having to overthink it and try to do all of these things. I've done this now for 6 years. It works, absolutely works. And I actually have, when I did the transformation, the Purium transformation 6 years ago, I did it consistently for 5 months straight. And by the end of, or actually 6 months straight, and then by the end of the 6 months, I was completely off thyroid medication. And that was over 5.5 years ago. So nutrition will address most issues that people are dealing with within their body. And as I've now ventured into working with molecular hydrogen as well, what I've noticed is that pairing the molecular hydrogen with the superfoods really helps people to accelerate health and healing within their body, because the foundation of health really is quality nutrition and quality hydration. So anyway, I hope that this helps, and there'll be a caption with this video that will help you to, if you want to check out the superfoods, you can definitely check them out. And thanks for being here. This is the first time I've done a live like this, and I am going to probably do another live where I'm going to be sharing about parasites on my channel. There are some other videos as well in terms of thyroid issues and parasites that you can also check out. So thanks so much, and have a beautiful rest of your day.